Hello darts fans and welcome back to a brand new video on the Darts World channel. In today's video we're going to take a look at some crazy custom darts points used by a player that were very nearly banned and still proved to be very controversial due to their board ruining reputation. If we take a look at the darts rulebook from 2019, there was only one real rule about the points that players could use, and that was that they had to be metal. That rule meant that players could technically use any type of metal to make their points, which was exploited by Australia's Simon Whitlock, a former major champion in the PDC and two-time World Championship runner-up. Whitlock had the strange idea to create custom points for his darts using Allen keys, which he shaved down to create a highly aggressive dart point. He first used them on TV at the World Match Play back in 2018, where he began with a comfortable win over Richard North. At the conclusion of that game, the 20 segment did look fairly worn after a fairly short game, something which would become a talking point when he began to use them more regularly. Whitlock created the points to deal with soft boards by making his darts stand up more, making it easier for him to score 180s. A few weeks after that, Max Hopp won his second PDC title at a Players' Championship event in Dublin, where he comfortably beat Madars Razma in the final. Following the match, it was revealed that Whitlock had fitted some of his Allen key points into Hopp's darts a week earlier when they were both playing at an exhibition in Frankfurt. Following the match, Hopp said that in the morning he hadn't believed that he would win and that he had to thank Whitlock for putting the Allen key points in his darts, which played a part in him being the top out of the 128 players on the day. Going back to Whitlock, at the 2018 World Match Play, his first notable tournament run with the point came to an end in the quarter-finals, where he was beaten 16-5 by Peter Snakebite Wright. A year later, at the same tournament in Blackpool, Whitlock used the same points and again lost to Wright, but this time earlier, losing 11-2 in round 2. During his two games, and particularly his first one, a win over John Henderson, Whitlock's points caused visible damage to the Unicorn boards being used back then, leading to a debate on social media, with many blaming the board for being poor quality. Following that game against Henderson, the official Unicorn account responded to a tweet calling out their boards by saying that the polite advice would be to concentrate on the points that Whitlock was using, accusing them of ripping Seidel out of the board. Simon responded to that by asking them to call him by his full name and asked their sponsor players their honest views on the Unicorn boards. Simon was clearly annoyed at the public shots fired by Unicorn, which also came from Unicorn's managing director, Edward Lowy, who also blamed the points. Whitlock later posted a longer statement saying that he had chosen to amend his equipment to compensate for inconsistency in the standard of the boards and was being singled out for doing nothing wrong, which he felt was annoying and unjust. Lowy responded to that by saying that he agreed with Simon and, for the avoidance of doubt, he hadn't and wouldn't single any players out, he was just simply responding to comments. Later on in that year, Wayne Mardle made a comment without using Simon's name, simply saying that, in his opinion, darts players should be made to use conforming points like golfers are with clubs. At the World Match Play in 2020, the debate was reignited again when, during a game against Michael van Gerwen, Whitlock's points made the board look like this after just 5 legs, causing it to have to be changed in a break. Wayne Mardle tweeted after one of Simon's games in the event, saying that his points should be banned and no board would be able to survive the battering rams. Famous darts fan and former Soccer AM host Helen Chamberlain said that if a footballer wore boots that tore up the pitch, they'd be told to take them off, so a similar rule should be implemented in darts, as the current situation was just bizarre. Whitlock lost to Anderson in the quarters, and the Scotsman said in his post-match interview that the points needed to be looked at. In response to all the noise, Whitlock said that he was bored of hearing about his points, instead blaming the inconsistency of the boards again. He said that if he was given decent boards, he would change his points, and that many players were also using adapted points. He said that the points were perfectly legal and said that he would continue to use them. He also attached a photo showing his 3-month-old practice board at home, showing how the damage wasn't even that bad. He also said that he hoped the commentators and critics would now accept that and move on to other things. But they didn't, and during that year's World Championship, Wayne Mardle tweeted the following: "I've said it before and I'll say it again. Simon's points need to be banned from professional darts. It's not fair on his opponents and it's not fair on the board manufacturer." When Chris Dobey took to the stage during the Masters at the start of 2021, it looked as if he too was using the Allen key points. In his post-match interview, Chris confirmed that he'd been given some points by Simon and that he was now using them without feeling like they ruined the boards. Later on in that year, Michael Van Goghen tweeted some images of badly damaged practice boards backstage at PDC events. He added that certain points should be banned as they looked horrible on TV and that it was not fair on the other players. Then in early 2023, we got a big change with a new rule being announced that outlawed any darts points that met any of 4 criteria outlined in the rulebook. One criteria was that the end 15mm of the points could not have a surface coarseness greater than number 18 on this gauge. The rules also said that the points could not have grooves, ridges or any discontinuities at the end, as well as not having a cross-section greater than 2.5mm at the end. Points with a blunt or flat surface near the end would also be banned, as well as any which the expert opinion of the referee felt would damage the board to the detriment of other players. That meant that Whitlock's points were highly likely to be outlawed. The 2023 rulebook stated that those new point rules would come into force at the start of the 2024 season, giving players some time to adapt. In an interview at the end of 2023, Simon said that if the rules did come in for the next year, he would be in a lot of trouble. However, at the start of this year, when the new DRA rulebook for this season came out, there was another rule change. The supposed new section was replaced with Rule 6.1.2, which states that where darts are deemed by the tournament director to be causing undue damage to the board, he shall prohibit the use of those darts in the event. That makes the rule far more subjective and may lead to some disputes. An update on the DRA website states that if players are still unsure, they should always bring a spare set of points or darts. It also states that, as a player using your darts, you will know if there's a potential issue. Speaking to Online Darts about the rule change reversal this year, Whitlock said the following: "Barely anything at all has changed since the rule change came in. It's not affected me at all. I said straight away there's no way this rule would come in because everyone uses points with grooves and crisscross patterns and stuff. And pretty much every player who doesn't will rough their points up. I've stuck with the same thing. It's not damaging the boards and it's all cool. 100% I think it was aimed at me, but why target me? I'm just about finished at darts now, so what's the point? But also, Winmore boards do not fall apart like unicorn boards, which were pretty awful at the end. You'd throw 3 darts and you'd be pulling out stuff. The dartboards are brilliant now, and there's absolutely no damage whatsoever." Now, if you didn't already know, the PDC changed board supplier from Unicorn to Winmore back in 2022, and as Simon said, he thinks that made a big difference. What I want to know from you is if you think that's the reason the points debate has quieted down over recent years. Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe, as I'm currently getting very close to 15k and the vast majority of my viewers aren't already. You can also hit the bell icon if you want to be notified whenever I upload a brand new darts video.